Urgent Atlanta Falcons fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Atlanta Falcons updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey there, Falcons fans! Today, we're diving deep into some of the most recent moves, rumors, and strategic shifts happening around your beloved Atlanta Falcons. We're talking about the team's current roster situation, some key players, and what the future might hold as we head into an intense offseason. If you're as passionate about the Falcons as I am, then stay tuned because there's a lot to unpack here, and trust me, this is just the beginning. Now, first off, let's talk about the cornerback position. If you've been paying close attention, you know that the Falcons have been looking to bolster their secondary. The cornerback spot has been a bit of a roller coaster lately, especially when we look at some of the performances last season and the potential additions that could really change the game. Recently, there's been a lot of chatter about the best corner left on the market, and that's none other than someone we'll refer to as Samuel. Now, Samuel is a player with a ton of talent. He's versatile, experienced, and, most importantly, a proven starter. If he were to join Atlanta, he would almost certainly start in the team's current defensive lineup, which would be a significant upgrade from what we saw last season. The big question, of course, is what would it take to bring Samuel into the fold? The asking price is a crucial factor. The Falcons are clearly aware that they need to make a move if they want to stay competitive in the NFC South and beyond. The potential cost would determine whether this is a realistic target or just a pipe dream. If Samuel's price tag isn't too steep, then this could be a game changer, especially considering the importance of cornerback play in today's pass-heavy NFL. The secondary was a mixed bag last season. While A.J. Terrell has been a solid cornerstone, the opposite side has left many fans scratching their heads. Opposing quarterbacks often tested that side, especially against teams like the Commanders and Vikings, where the corner was consistently targeted and picked on. That's a big red flag. It's clear that the Falcons have to upgrade that position to become more resilient against top-tier offenses. Right now, the team's depth chart includes some names like Kobe Bryant, an undrafted free agent who showed flashes during the preseason, and veteran Kevin King, re-signed to add some veteran leadership and experience. But honestly, those aren't players who are likely to be the long-term solution or even consistent starters. They're more like depth options, and the Falcons could really benefit from bringing in someone who can step right in and make an immediate impact. That's why acquiring a player like Samuel would be a huge boost, not just for the secondary starting unit, but also for the overall confidence of the defense. Imagine the possibilities. With Samuel locking down one side of the field, Atlanta's defense instantly becomes more aggressive and versatile. It would allow the defensive coordinator to dial up more complex coverages and blitzes, knowing that the cornerback on the boundary can hold his own against the league's best receivers. And speaking of receivers, this brings us to an interesting point about the Falcons' overall roster construction. The team has some promising young talents, but there's still room for improvement, especially when it comes to supporting the offense and helping the run game. One area that's been under the spotlight is the blocking ability of the Falcons' wide receivers and tight ends. When you think about the dynamic running back Bijan Robinson, who was the rookie sensation last season, you realize how much the offensive line and receiving core contribute to his success. Unfortunately, some of the receivers, like Mooney and McLeod, are a bit undersized and not particularly known for their blocking ability. That's a missed opportunity because, in today's NFL, versatile players who can block and catch are invaluable. If Atlanta could add a more experienced blocking receiver, it would help set up Bijan for even bigger plays, and it would also improve the team's overall offensive balance. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about the offensive line, because that's another area that's been getting some attention. The Falcons have invested heavily in their interior line, especially with players like Chris Lindstrom and Matthew Bergeron. But there's a desire to push that unit even further, and that's where adding a veteran center could come into play. Recently, the team has shown a surprising amount of trust in Ryan Neuzil, a player who stepped up last season and performed well when given the opportunity. Still, the smart move, especially in a competitive division, would be to bring in some veteran competition to push Newsel and ensure the team has the best possible depth at that critical position. Enter David Andrews, a Super Bowl-winning center who's spent the last few seasons with the New England Patriots. Andrews is known for his leadership, football IQ, and toughness. Sure, he's had some health issues in the past, and that's a concern for any aging player, but bringing him into Atlanta would be a smart depth move. He's a guy who can mentor the younger linemen, like Lindstrom and Bergeron, and provide stability on the interior. And in the NFL, depth is everything, especially at center, where even small mistakes can lead to big plays against your team. Now, I want to take a moment here to emphasize how these moves all tie together. The Falcons are clearly in a phase of building and refining their roster. They're not just looking for quick fixes, they want to create a competitive, versatile team that can contend both now and in the future. The addition of a top-tier cornerback like Samuel would instantly upgrade their secondary, making life easier for the pass rush and the safeties. Improving the receiver blocking and supporting Bijan Robinson would give the offense more consistency and explosiveness. And strengthening the offensive line with veteran leadership like Andrews would provide the stability needed to protect Marcus Mariota or whoever the starting quarterback might be. But this isn't just about individual players. It's about the strategic vision of the Falcons' front office. They know that to compete at the highest level, every position matters. The secondary, the offensive line, the receivers, they all need to work in harmony. This offseason is critical because it's the chance to address those weak spots, to add veteran presence, and to develop the young talent that can take the team to the next level. And as fans, we should be excited because these kinds of moves, if executed well, can turn a good team into a great one. Looking at the current season, the Falcons have shown flashes of brilliance. The defense, when healthy, has been formidable, especially with the emergence of young pass rushers and the leadership of players like Grady Jarrett. On offense, Bijan Robinson's rookie year was nothing short of spectacular, showing why the Falcons made such a high investment in him. But consistency remains an issue, and that's where these strategic roster additions come into play. If Atlanta can shore up their weaknesses, especially at cornerback and along the offensive line, they could very well challenge for a playoff spot and perhaps even more. Historically, the Falcons have had a roller coaster of seasons, some years making deep playoff runs, others struggling to find their footing. But this offseason feels different. There's a sense of purpose, a desire to finally put together a well-rounded team that can compete with the best. The front office has been bold in their approach, and the coaching staff is known for maximizing player potential. So, whether it's bringing in top-tier talent like Samuel, adding depth through veteran signings like Andrews, or developing the young core, everything points to a team that's trying to set itself up for sustained success. And let's not forget the fans. You guys are the heart and soul of this franchise. Your passion fuels the team, especially during tough seasons. Every signing, every draft pick, every game day is a step toward that ultimate goal, bringing a championship back to Atlanta. So, keep that energy high, stay engaged, and remember that this offseason is shaping up to be one of the most pivotal in the Falcons' recent history. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought: the Atlanta Falcons are on the verge of something exciting. The pieces are starting to come together, and with the right moves, this team could surprise a lot of people in 2024 and beyond. Whether it's the defensive upgrades, offensive support, or veteran leadership, every move counts. And the best part? We're all here, watching it unfold, rooting for this team to reach its potential. The journey is just beginning, and I can't wait to see what's next. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Atlanta Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news.